Hello there, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my live and my channel, New Beginnings, My Everyday Life in Rural Cyprus. I also have a second channel which is linked in the description below, Tranquillity Through Life's Natural Beauty. So take a look there and don't forget to check out the playlist on both my channels to see my variety of content. Oh, I'm pleased I got through that one today because in my last live, I believe, I was having such issues. I couldn't even remember properly the name of my channel. So I did good today. I've got a ton of things to show you today. Lots of hauls and other exciting things. I've got a big day tomorrow as well. So look out for my next live when I'll be telling you all what I've done and possibly videos to go with it. Who knows? So let's begin, as always, on my Wednesday live when I share my feelings of the day with my cards that I made. So let's see. It's been a bit of a up and down time. Yeah, so I'm going to go with this one. Irritated. Yes, irritated in many different ways. Mostly by complainers whose life really is not that bad at all. As I always say, to get through bad times, think about it. There's always someone out there far worse than you who would gladly swap places with you. So stop your moaning, stop your grifting and get on with it, especially if you chose the life that you're living. Rant over, let's get on with the live. So first of all, my book review of what I'm reading. I finished this book, Losing You. I said it was going to be a quick read because it's quite thin, even though the text is extremely small. So I was limited to only reading that in absolute bright daylight. And it started off very well. I was giving it a good review. I've completely finished it now. I will highly recommend it. For once, the ending wasn't the person I thought it was going to be because it's someone's murderer. But it's quite a good book. The only downside of it was at the very beginning, and I mean the very beginning, they suddenly talk about this woman's family. Well, you assume it's her family, and all these names come forward, and Charlie, and so you're assuming Charlie's a boy first and foremost, and then these other people's names, excuse me, and it doesn't tell you for quite some time as to who they are. I like to know. They could have said her son Jackson, her daughter Charlie, just put those words in author. But apart from that, it was a really good book. I'm going to keep this. It's one of those books, if you remember the ending, then you can't read for a while. So I'm going to put it on my bookshelf, forget about it, and then come back to it once I've forgotten the ending. So yeah, highly recommended this one. These are all old books. You can go to your library if you're lucky enough to have a library, which we're not, but you can go to your library and ask for a book if you can't find it. So there's the book for you. So I say a quick read. I would say it's a really good beach or holiday read because it's short, and it did want me to keep reading it, not putting it down, which I had to because I have other commitments. But yes, a good one. So that's a keeper. I then sorted out what to read next. And there were two books I picked up, and one was like it's supposed to be a funny travel vlog type thing. I love travel books if they're like sort of about a place. And I don't know who the person was. I'm not going to show the book because just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's a terrible book. But I read quite a bit of it. It's one of those, like a school book when you don't want to read it, but you have to. And I really tried hard. The humors weren't funny. I didn't enjoy it. So I just dumped that straight away. And then there was a second book I picked up. What was that one about? Can't even remember. And I read the first little bit of it and I'm like, oh, this is just not even for me to try. don't waste your time reading that. So I've dumped 2 books since I last saw you. As I say, because I didn't read them thoroughly, I won't review them, but not for me. So now I've picked this one out of my pile to read, and this is called The Girl's Guide to Hunting and Fishing, Melissa Bank. So it should be okay. And it says, when it comes to the mating game, Jane's still learning how to play. As a teenager, she tried to understand relationships by watching her elder brother falling in and out of love. And now, older but none the wiser, she embarks on her own affairs. There's a boyfriend with the irritatingly beautiful ex, the witty and worldly older man, the commitment phobic who calls her honey but will never use her name. Plenty of fish in the sea, but how do you find a man worth catching? When she finally resorts to How to Meet and Marry Mr. Right, a hilariously old-fashioned guide to hunting out and reeling the man of your dreams, Jane discovers that with love, life and men, a girl doesn't need rules. So who knows? Sounds like it's a nice, easy read, not overly thick. So that's my next one. I will start and let you know how it's going. I always like to tell you the beginning, how it goes. I like a book that gets into it. But for me, the most important thing is endings. Now, I need to kick this over here. You'll see why in a minute. Okay, and the other thing I always do is show you my crafts, what I'm working on. And yeah, I finally finished it. So you won't see this again. My bag, my Flintstones that I made cross stitch on. I finally finished it. So I'm really pleased with that. I was sitting and sewing just to finish it off, so it was done. So what is my next craft project going to be? Well, I'm going to, as I've said before, try and go back and finish any unfinished things before I start anything new. So I'm going back to my gardening apron because I will use that once it's done. My very personal one-off exclusive merch. I did my channel name on, and I'm gradually adding random vegetables. Oh, you can't see that bit there. There you go. So tomato there. So I've got to really just fill in the gaps with more vegetables. It's very hard to do anything lower than this because the way the pocket is. So I just want to really randomly fill in any gaps. So that will be my next project. I don't know what vegetables I'm doing next, but that's what's happening now, my next project. So I'll update you on that as I go. I have done with this photographed, I think. I don't know if I've filmed anything, but photographed each stage. So when a big project's done, then you will see a video on it on my other channel, which is where my crafts have a playlist. Okay. I've got to suck a sweet. I'm drinking water. I'm going to drown. It's so hot here, so I just want to keep my mouth a little moist. I didn't quite finish it before we began. I've got a video coming up. I haven't edited it yet. I'm just looking at my all my bits of film I've got up on the whiteboard behind you, so I know what I need to edit. Have I edited it yet? No. And it was basically, we went to another village and we did bits and pieces. We drove out there for several reasons. I filmed it all, so you'll see that soon on this channel. One of the main reasons was there's a post office there. So I finally posted my prize winner 2K viewers prizes for the 2K giveaway. So they are posted, guys. So let me know when you get them. That was the main focus of going there. There's a few other things we did there. And there's a charity shop there. So I said to Mike, if we're going up there, is a charity shop quite near there? He said, yes, it's walkable on a blistering heat morning because it's hot from like very early in the morning to very late at night. It doesn't cool down in the evenings here, hence my fan on full blast. So we had to go up a steep hill in the heat, but I wanted to go in there. I was a little disappointed because I'm sure there were more what I call bits and pieces. And it seemed to be, I would say, a third of it was clothes. So I was a little disappointed with that because I wanted to look at bits and pieces and I thought there was sure to be something I could find or use. But Mike bought something there. That's up to him to share on his channel. He doesn't. But I got, as if I haven't got enough of them. As I say, I was disappointed there wasn't too many bits and pieces there, but two lovely ladies working there. As if I haven't got enough of these already, there were two cross-stitch kits. So I thought, oh, they're going to be expensive. So I said to her, how much are the cross-stitch kits? Because nothing much was priced. Excuse me. Let me have a drink. I'm so dry. So I said to her, how much are the cross-stitch kits? And she said €2 each. So I was like, oh, you can't not have them for €2 each. Good morning to you. How are you doing, my friend? Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. So I thought I can't, even though I've got, if you've watched my videos, I've done 3 videos on my cross-stitch haul over 2 auction lots. So look back at those if you haven't seen them. And I've got enough to probably last me a lifetime. But who can say no to €2 for a kit? And I saw they both had the threads. Now, you know, for me, this is the important bit. So even €2 just for all this thread is going to be a good deal. Now, it turns out they don't have the material in them, which was a little disappointing because I said to Mike, well, with the material, that's a bargain. Neither of them have the material. Now, I don't understand how these have been done, but the colour threads are still in them because they're both similar. And I know they've been done because some people like to colour in and highlight the chart as they do the stitches. So I know they've been done, but none of the thread's been used. Now, they have put next to the number chart on the threads different numbers. So I'm assuming they already had thread and decided to use those instead. That's all I can think. Yes, you should go back and look at my auctions. There's 3 videos on cross stitch. I paid €25 for a whole box full of one lot and €20 for the other box, and see what I got. It's not just cross stitch, it's hoops and all sorts. So anyway, just with the thread. Now, I said to Mike, obviously I didn't want to make a middle bit. I was looking at these because they're Beatrix Potter. You could make little cards of each one of these. So really, as long as I've got the pattern, the colours are good. If I've got the colours and want to use them, they're the right colours. But you know, I'm never bothered. About £300 of stuff. I've got 6 full bags sewing crochet needlepoint yarn thread. Wow. So how much did you pay? 6 bags of sewing crochet needlepoint yarn thread. So much stuff at auction. £300 of stuff. But what did you actually pay? $20. Wow, that's brilliant. This is the second one. Now, I don't know if you can see, there's 2 lots of this thread in this one. So as I say, for me, thread is more important because there's nowhere, I can't order online. So for me, threads are great. I know that's worth more than €2 just for that thread. And as I say, the complete patterns are in there as well. Big, huge trash bags full. Wow. Have you got a video on that? I'd love to see. I really do. I would really love to see that. So I'll put those there. Have another sip. Wow, that's a bargain. We don't have like garage sales, those kinds of things in Cyprus, but I tell you, I'd be going around to them all if we did. Excuse me. So with this trip up there where we went to the charity shop as well, there's also, I have filmed it before, but there'll be a bit more in this video. I'm going to do this whole trip up there. There's a dump, if you like. Now, it's a recycling plant. So You didn't even know what it was when we bought. No, most of my auction stuff is blind. There is a photograph, but you can't really see everything. Do you have storage facilities? There is one in the whole of Cyprus. So yeah, I know you in America particularly, you have like auctions where you can buy an unseen storage. I watch all those sort of videos. If anyone's got those sort of videos like emptying houses and anything like that, I love them. So send me your URLs. Storage auctions, you have tons. So have you done those then? And what's your best you got? I believe with those, mostly you do see a picture of it opened, but some not. There's also truck auctions. And on my husband's YouTube channel, Olive Farm Retreat Cyprus, the stables we help at sometimes, he bought a big, what do you call it, like a big container when you move to another country, like a, container, big container. And he bought one of those to put on the stables that he's made into storerooms for each person who owns a horse. They can put like their saddles and things and have little lockers in them. But he had to buy this container full and unseen. And he got Mike to go down there and he said, you help me sort it out. I'll keep anything I want, but anything I don't want, you can have. So Mike's got, I think, 2 videos on his channel showing you what he got from, that was technically unseen as well. Storage auction, we have tons. None of your texts on the back 20 says, best was pallet of breathing machines. Didn't see it was in back. Oh, right. Oh, I thought it was going to say that's a bad thing. $50 worth 5,000. Wow. We just got out of that storage container, like shipping container, that's what I want to say, 2 diving tanks. But, yeah, the diving centre doesn't want them. So I thought they would want those. None of your texts on back 20 says, we bought an estate in France. They packed in containers, shipped it over. Wow. I want videos of all this. Lot of furniture from 1700s and 1800s. Wow. My first property I ever bought in London, that was a Victorian property, and it had been converted into 2 properties, like a downstairs. They had their own front doors, and upstairs I bought like the whole upstairs of this big Victorian house. So I had the loft, and the lady who lived there from the conversion, I'm assuming she might have been there before, I don't know, but she lived there. All the loft was old furniture. There's old newspapers, and if you go on my other channel, I'm actually selling all the old newspapers right back. Oh, I wouldn't like to say something 1800, 17 something, the newspapers. I'm selling all the newspapers for anyone who wants them. All my medicine bottles, blue bottles and all that, I show on my other channel. That was all there. There was a letter in there from the lady's granddaughter saying that she's going to see a new band playing, and could grandma, the lady who lived in the property, could she make her dress? And she drew the design she wanted. Could she make her dress to go to the concert? Because the new band was called the Beatles. Loads of stuff. None of your Texas on back 20 says, got desk older than our country, 17,000. 1700, 17,000. 1700, wow. Apparently the woman was a resistance fighter in France. Wow, crazy thing. Photo maps. You've got to do videos. They would be so popular. So popular. I had old adverts in the loft. What else? Documents. There was letters. There was like the Victorian birthday cards, all sorts of stuff. I love stuff like that. I really do. As I say, I'm selling all the old newspapers to anyone that wants them, but I'm keeping the bottles. So that. Well, yes, I'm sure if you all would like to see videos of that, do go on Nanya Texas on the Back 20 channel and say, we want videos of this. So, yes, I'd love to see things like that. Love it. Love it. And I am going to put up videos. I've only got, I think I've video footage as well, but mostly photos of this property when I first found it and doing it all up, renovating it. And I've said before, the bath was in the kitchen with like a Formica top on it in the kitchen. So used it as a worktop in the kitchen. And that was the old bath, cast iron bath. So, yeah, interesting. Nanya text on Back 20 says lots of propaganda. Even one of the star patches they made Jews wear. I have not made video. It's very crazy stuff. Yeah, the word you put in there, you have to watch things like that, don't you, on YouTube? So I don't think you could show some of that. I don't know. You'd have to find out from someone who knows about that. But some interesting stuff. You so need to make videos on that. And I was saying to my husband, Mike, the other day, it's funny how different countries things are value and other countries they're not. So, for example, here, the white butler sinks, the great big white sinks that people go crazy for in England and paying thousands of pounds to have them. And in Cyprus, they just dump them. The great big old butler sinks, the really deep white sinks. And then we watch a channel on YouTube where they empty houses and sell the stuff on. And some of the stuff they're saying the prices of, and the auction here are literally giving them those sort of things away for €1, €2. If I could be bothered with shipping and sorting all that out, I would buy stuff and sell it on. But yeah, too manic. Crazy stuff. Old maps, countries change borders. Yeah, we've got some old atlases that even like they're not that old, and it's crazy stuff. Very interesting. Don't just tell me about it, make a video. But I tell you, they would do really well. Really good, those videos. Title it right. Yeah, title it right. They would do very well. Okay, so I was saying on this day that I have videoed or what happened, I can't show you all of it right now because some of it's too big, so you'll have to wait for the video. But there's a recycling dump, so you can take literally anything, even chemicals. It's literally the centre to take things you think you can't get rid of, they take all sorts of electricals. The diving tanks we took there and asked, are they okay? Yes. We had to put them a certain place. Dangerous stuff, they take it all, but there's someone there and they have to tell you. You had to stop buying them, you had too much stuff. So anyway, there, when you go to this recycling dump, you can pick up anything you want there. Now, if I was into baking, again, someone must have emptied out a property. There was all brand new cooking things, all cutlery, not cutlery, like utensils, baking trays, cake tins where you make the little individual cakes. Again, if I had an outlet to sell, I would have just picked it all up. But Mike said, leave it there. There's someone going to come that will want it. So I can't show you what I got from there. I've filmed it so you'll see, but I have got the smallest item, a nice big basket. And as you'll see, there's nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing wrong. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to use it for, but again, can't pass up the opportunity. You know I love containers, cannot pass it up. I've got a shelf, racking, whatever you want to call it, for plants. I've got loads of stuff that I can use as drip trays, but you'll have to watch the video to see all of it because I can't really manipulate. And then talking of auctions, my latest auction bid, I told you, I think my last live or live before, they're every 2 weeks here, the auction. Luckily, it's not too far from us. So I told you what I was hoping to bid for. There was big shelving that went for silly money, so it must have been good. There was a lot of books, and I said there were 4 quite big books, thick. They were all British butterflies, British birds, I think British flowers and British something else. I thought, okay, but at least I'll have a clue of the butterfly one I was particularly interested in. And there was a Greek dance book with it. Was there another book with it? But that went for silly money, so fine. And the third thing I wanted to bid on, it started at €10, and I won the bid. We paid a bit more for the lot. And when you think there's a buying fee you have to put on top. There were 6 books I wanted out of a whole box of books for my collection of Sophie Kinsella books. And it's particularly the Shopaholic books. I wanted to complete the set of those. So considering there's a whole load of books I'm going to show you I didn't want in the lot, the total price I paid for all of it, it worked out, the 6 books I wanted worked out at €2.40 each. Not bad, is it, for 6 books I want? And that's overall, if I had all the books, but I didn't want them all, divide the total price by just my 6 books. So what I'm going to do is the books I don't want will go back in an auction with loads of other books that people might want. And I've got something to tell you about Sophie Kinsella books. Be aware before you buy the Shopaholic books, but I'll go into that in a minute. If I forget, tell me. But first I'll show you all the books I didn't want. It was rather a mixed bag between Shakespeare type books and Sophie Kinsella. Do you not think this is a really weird match of books in one lot? So we have this, don't want. These are all my don't wants. Midsummer's Night Dream, did it at school, been there, done that. These are Coles, which in England, don't know if elsewhere, you always had these as like your notebooks. There was another brand as well. There were sort of 2 that you bought for notes about the book, i.e. you don't need to read the book, you just read the notes. So there's that one. I just don't get how these are with Sophie Kinsella, really, but anyway. Now, there was one person bidding against me. There's no way I can contact them and ask who the bidder was, because say they wanted all these, they could gladly have them. But they may well have wanted the Sophie Kinsella one. Who knows? So another, what I like to call school cheap books. And the thing about books is they're so heavy. So you can't post books or anything. As I say, we don't have car boot sales or garage sales or anything like that. I'm stuck with either the auction or Bazaraki, which is like a kind of Craigslist just for Cyprus. But a lot of people can't bother to come and collect. We do occasionally go and meet up at a sort of suitable point, but might get fed up with driving around dropping things off. I mean, there's a lot of books. They're just things I did as a child, so why would I want to have them again? Done the whole Shakespeare thing. know some people like Shakespeare. I've just realised it's yet another live while I bob out the screen. I mean, some people like them. That's all well and good, but that's not what I wanted. Now, here's a weird one. Naval Ratings Handbook. Is this not random? 1965. Now, we're kind of thinking, because on the English school syllabus is the Shakespeare books, and this is like naval, we're thinking these books could be from the base, British bases, the British bases in Cyprus. And they just threw in all the books before they left. I mean, I'm going to look through it. There's going to be interesting things, I'm sure, like this. So, you know, flick through. I'm not just dumping these things. Oh, this is interesting. So, you never know. Some interesting things. So if anyone happens to be watching this and is interested in it, then do contact me. Or if you know anyone, as I say, postage of books is a big thing. So be better if you're in Cyprus. Oh, there's also, it's like the whole manual. But I wonder if this is dated. All about anchors. Oh, someone might find this really interesting. Oh, that's all. Oh, yeah, look, there's some interesting things. I could be an expert on this by the time I finish looking. And staying with that theme, we have The Command of the Ocean, A Naval History of Britain, 1649 to 1815. Wow, that's a big book. So, yeah, if anyone's interested, if you are abroad and you want them, you're going to have to pay the postage. If you are interested, what I can do is you give me your address. I will get them weighed and tell you how much they would charge me to send them. Then you send me the money because I don't have spare money, and then I will post them to you if you were interested. I have Surviving Greek Tragedy. Bear in mind, these are ones I didn't want. Greek Tragedy. Mayhem in the Med. Oh, there's a book missing because there's another one. Oh. Did I show you that one? What's special about Shakespeare? Don't remember showing you that one. Okay, so they're the ones I didn't want. Now, before I go further, I will tell you about what you need to take care with if you're buying Sophie Kinsella books, the Shopaholic series, which I didn't know until I bought the books. Looking through, as I said, you get one photograph, so you can magnify slightly. So some things you can see what they are, some things not. So I looked at all the books I have so far. Now, I didn't know how many there are in the series. And I do also know she wrote other books that aren't the series. And I also know that she wrote under another name as well. So that's by the by. We're not talking about those ones. I was happy to have other books she'd written. And I went through all the books I'd got, looked on the screen for the titles that I didn't already have, not knowing how many other ones there were. And it wasn't till, there were 6, by the way. There were 6 books that I didn't have that I wanted. So I bid for those. And as I say, someone else was bidding, but I still got them. It worked out. The total price that I paid each of the 6 books in total meant each book came out at €2.40. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14-ish euros in total for all the books. Anyway, so when I got them all, I was then trying to figure out the order of them. What were the order of the books? Because I want to read them again and insert the ones that are new to me. And when you read inside the book, it doesn't give you a clue. It jumps around with other titles. Then I found inside one book, I've got The Secret Dream World of a Shopaholic, which is the first book. And then it said, / also called Confessions of a Shopaholic. So what I'm warning you is more than one book has two different titles. So forget the fact books have different covers for the same book. Two of her books so far have two different titles. And I was a bit cross by that because I was just looking for titles that I didn't already have. So that is my warning to you. So now there was one book, I can't work out where it came. And it's because they were using only the other title for it. And so this book didn't get a mention in the order. I found it all out via asking my assistant, and the assistant told me the order of my books. So I've now got them in the right order. There are now 3 more that on there it listed of the Shopaholic series that I still don't have. I do not have and still need Shopaholic to the Stars, Shopaholic to the Rescue, and Christmas Shopaholic, so that at least now I've written it down, I've got the order, and I know the ones I haven't got. So to tell you the order of the books, in case you don't know and you're interested. Oh, by the way, the reason there's different titles, the first one has 2 titles because the first book's called The Secret Dream World of the Shopaholic, but was changed and reprinted as Confessions of a Shopaholic for 2 reasons. One, the film, which I do not rate at all, even though I love the books. The film was titled Confessions of a Shopaholic, and they titled it that because they wanted to hit the American market, and they thought that was a more gripping title. And with that in mind, the second book, they changed the title of to go with the American market. And in the video, you'll see I talk about, the prices are in dollars. They're the books that were for the American market. So if they don't have dollar on, they weren't the second title. So round up of the titles in the correct order. Book 1 is The Secret Dream World of Shopaholic / American version, Confessions of a Shopaholic. Book 2 is Shopaholic Abroad. The American book, the same book 2, is retitled Shopaholic Takes Manhattan. Book 3 is Shopaholic Ties the Knot. Book 4 is Shopaholic and Sister. Book 5 is Shopaholic and Baby. Book 6 is Mini Shopaholic. They are all the ones I have. Book 7 is Shopaholic to the Stars. Book 8 is Shopaholic to the Rescue. And book 9 is Christmas Shopaholic. Now, what have I now got? It took me ages to figure all that out and sort out. So now I've got out what I've got and what I didn't have. So I already had book 1, The Secret Dream World of the Shopaholic. And I bought, thinking it was different, Confessions of the Shopaholic. Now, what do? They are both the same book, the same exactly, and I have checked. Do I keep both because they're titles? Not really. Now, the thing is, this was my one, but as you can see, it's had water damage at some point. I got it secondhand, maybe in a bookstore or something. It was damaged. I got it for next to nothing, but at that point, I didn't have it. So possibly I will get rid of that one because I see the American market ones, they have pretty inserts. I think that is so pretty. So possibly I will just keep this one because I like these. The American market got really pretty stuff. And as I say, this has the only US and Canada prices on the back, no English prices. This one only has UK price. So do not get these mixed up. These are both the first book. And if you don't know, Sophie Kinsella is English. Some people thought she was American, but she's English. So that's the first book. I already had the second book. And I bought that title because I thought I didn't have it. These are both the second book. That was quite annoying, I must say. How are you supposed to know? I don't know. Now, this was mine and this is what I bought. But again, the American market has a beautiful insert. So I think I might just keep that one. And I have written on the front, I thought I wrote on the front. One of them I have written on the front that it's the same book. Okay. The third book I already had. Shopaholic Ties the Knot. This came, now I knew I had it because it has the same title. So I knew that was the same one. So this is why they're not the 6 books that I was buying it for. But again, this has a lovely insert. They're beautiful, really nicely drawn. I love those. So possibly I'll keep that version. The next book I already had, this one, Shopaholic and Sister. And this I knew I already had because it had the same title, but it's a hardback. I don't like hardback books, so this one will definitely go. I don't like reading a hardback book. I like a nice paperback, so that would definitely go. I knew I had that one, so that wasn't one of the 6. This one was in the auction. This is one I bought it for. It's a hardback, which, as I say, I don't really like, but I'm grateful I've got a book I didn't have in the set. And then this one I already had, Mini Shopaholic. And again, this was in the auction, but I knew I had it. So this wasn't one of the 6 I bought it for. So I will get rid of this because it's a hardback. I know a lot of people prefer hardback. They feel it's a real book. But for me, I don't like a big book. I mean, this is big anyway, which is interesting. But so I will keep my original version of that. Excuse me a minute. Okay. Then, as I say, she writes other books as well. These are all under her name of Sophie Kinsella, but I can't remember the name, what she writes under. But Wilkin, I don't know, can't remember. But she does write under another name. Just Google it, books by Sophie Kinsella, and you'll see the other books. Now, so these are all books that aren't in the Shopaholic series. So we have the Undomestic Goddess. So that's a different book. These are not the Shopaholic books now. Can You Keep a Secret? This was in the auction. 20s Girl. I think this was an auction one. I do say on the video which was which. I think this was an auction one. Can You Keep a Secret? Oh, no, sorry. I've Got Your Number. I've read the back of that. It sounds quite interesting. And the last one, Wedding Night. So these are part of the ones from the auction. So I hope that doesn't let you fall into the trap that I kind of fell into. It still worked out good. Just annoyed 2 of them were sort of scamified, if you like, by the publishing house, let's say. I think there should at least be on the cover to say formerly known as, which is how I found out about it. One of them does say the very first book, but I think any other book should have to say. I know they change covers, but to change the title and no clarification of that, I think that's pretty poor show. So that is my book haul. As I say, we've got a day tomorrow. Don't know if I'm filming or not, but we'll see. But you've definitely got the upcoming version of the day when we went out to a local village, the charity shop. You'll see what else I bought there. No, not the charity shop. You will see the charity shop, but you won't see what else I bought there. I didn't buy anything else, just to cross stitch from there. I posted the gifts. I've driven past a couple of places there, so I'll just slow mo it down and show you 2 other places, I think, in there. But you will see what else I got from the recycling plant. So I hope you like that. Something else that I did show on my other channel's last live. So go back to the last live on my other channel. And I show you the gift that my most recent volunteer made for me. So if you're interested in seeing what she made for me, that I showed on my last live on my other channel, which my channel's linked below. It's Friendship Friday Club. It's on there. Anything else? I'm just looking. No, I think that's about it, other than I have just harvested a whole ton of radish seeds, so I've got to sit and pop those all out tonight. I should sit there and pop these out. I've been sitting doing the cross stitch, but now that bag's finished, I shall do my popping out of seeds. So I'm off to do that. I think I'm going to jump in the pool first. It's now 6:20 in the evening. It's still very hot. I hear a lot of places got rain and cold, so I won't complain. So thanks for being here. Don't forget to drop me a comment below and say hi. And until next time, as always, Meraki.